Hey guys, and welcome. It's Alicia Shaffer, and welcome to my podcast. I'm truly here to help you and your business succeed. So first and foremost, make sure you have subscribed to my newsletter. The newsletter goes out twice a week. Today, on today's episode, I really want to get into answering the question that I got asked a lot, and how do I leave a marketplace? How do I leave Etsy? How do I go from operating on a marketplace to operating on my own, and what does that look like? Like, what are the steps that I should take? And there really is a proven method of steps that you should take to plan ahead. It's not just an instant shut off and turn on. That is gonna kill your sales. It's gonna be like almost starting 100% over. Always want to have a risk management plan in place for your business. And that's from every angle and every operating standpoint, whether it's from sales, whether it's from production, whether it's from your actual website, your credit card processor, whatever that looks like, making sure you have a risk management plan in place is critical. So again, going back to leaving Etsy, going out onto your own, you absolutely should have your own website. It's really critical that you think of not just today. If you're planning on growing your business, if you're planning on scaling your business, if you're planning on expanding your business into other categories or to reach a different audience, absolutely you must have your own website for sure. So that is not something that should make you nervous. That is not something that should instill fear. There's so many things now that make it so easy to start, operate, and grow your own website. And especially if you already have a following, especially if you already have customers, especially if you already have people who have purchased from you, those are things that you can easily turn them into shopping on your website. Always recommend Shopify, and I'll put a link to Shopify in the description, and you'll get a free month if you use my link and start over on Shopify. And you can start with a free plan, play around with it, see if it works for you. 3 things that I would start doing immediately if you're thinking of starting your own website, if you are already kind of there, or let's say you already have your own website, but you're not really giving it enough time and attention that you really think that like it probably should have, is first of all, make sure that what you're carrying in your Etsy shop and make sure you're carrying on your website are your top sellers. So if you have, items that are your absolute top sellers, make sure those are on your Shopify or whatever your standalone website is. If there's onesie-twosie items that you're just trying to clear out, I wouldn't recommend adding those to your website. I would recommend closing those out on Etsy so you don't have a ton of inventory that you're having to store, and just it clutters up your shop. And especially if the photography is old, you want to make sure that everything is fresh, everything is exciting to your customer, that you refresh your shop. So take a look at products, make sure that you have your top sellers, make sure that the descriptions are good, make sure that you put a lot of effort into your actual Shopify store or your web store to drive that traffic from your Etsy shop to your store. And just so you know, it's not going to happen by itself. There's like critical things you really need to be doing and putting into place. And the first thing first is start with your customer base that you have. And on social media, if you're having in your link, let's say in all your bio or your links, you drive all of that traffic to Etsy. Instead of driving it to Etsy, I would drive it to my own website. But before you do that and you change, you make all these things, make sure that you have your Etsy link in there still. So if you do like a link tree, or if you use a different platform for having your links in your bio, make sure that you have your first and foremost your own URL, and then secondary you can put your Etsy shop, because if somebody only wants to shop on Etsy, you also have that for them in case they want to. But make sure before you do that your top sellers are on Shopify. And there's also a lot of easy ways to export all your products from Etsy and import them into Shopify, so you don't have to manually go in and set those up one by one. And again, that's part of what I'm going to be working on for the course that I'm hoping to get launched within a few months, is a literally step-by-step guide of how to do this, and be your host and kind of take you along in this journey. So again, make sure you have subscribed to our new newsletter. The link will be there, and it's twice a week, and it's not spammy, it's actual helpful information that even if you take one of the newsletters and take one of the things weekly from the newsletter, you'll start seeing a difference in the positive direction for your business. You are not doing this if you're planning to leave a marketplace and go out on your own, or if you're trying to drive traffic from a marketplace like Etsy onto your own website. If you are not including some type of a marketing material, some type of a call to action to your customers as you're shipping the orders, you are totally missing out. That is such an easy, immediate fix that you can do. And there's so many different ideas, from bounce back cards to codes. And I've created a list of 10 things that you can do to implement immediately, to include with your shipments, to ask for your customer to do something. So if you comment below and just say guide, I'm trying to really build a community. I'm trying to not just provide you with one free thing. I'm trying to really build upon, today, here's something that you can include in your shipments. And next week, here's something that you can include in your email. So there's these actionable steps that really go towards taking your business from $100,000 to $1 million. And I'm doing it strategically based on how I know it worked for me and for Three Bird Nest, based on how it has worked for thousands of other shop owners that I've worked with, to take these guides, take these steps along the way, and really create processes and really create seamless marketing connections with your customer and building a community. So that's why I love having, if you're listening and if you're following, I love having people that connect, even if you don't listen to every single episode, even if you don't, like every post or, listen to every podcast. If you're gaining insight to a handful of the ones that I'm putting out, and you're opting into the newsletter, that's the end goal, is to get you to grow your business. And it's not going to grow by just sending you one free guide. It's going to grow at me providing continual content that is valuable, continual content that you need to put into place, but I'll show you how to do that. So that's what I'm really hoping to strive, is building a community and, asking questions. Tell me what your questions are, and I'm happy to answer them, whether it's in the newsletter. I have a Q&A in the newsletter where people email me questions. I'll include them in the newsletter, and then all of my community can see those, because if you have a question, guarantee somebody else has the same question. So make sure you get the guide for the inserts that you can put in your shipments to really help grow your audience. And that's something that's huge. So aside from having your own website, aside from putting things into your marketing materials, there is one more thing that is super critical if you're thinking about migrating or additionally having a website for your store. Start involving your top customers. So what I would do is I would post one of my top selling products. I would post that product and say, hey, for all of you who have purchased this product, what other complimentary items would you love to see that we carried, that we sold in our shop, or we sold on our website? So the difference with going from when you're on Etsy onto your own is a whole new horizon opens to you, where you can sell anything you want on your own website, which means, let's say you're, making candles and you can't possibly think of making anything else because you don't have the time for it, but it makes sense to expand your categories. It makes sense to expand, what you're offering your customer, because if someone is buying your candles from you, they're buying home decor items. So if you could also sell, matches, if you could sell snuffers, if you could sell, little tabletop decor that people can put candles in, of course, you're probably not thinking of doing that on Etsy, because those aren't things that you can make. But when you have your own website, those are easy add-on products that you can offer on your website to your customers that will help drive your sales, because they're now going from, a $50 AOV, which is average order value. So they're going from a $50 one to $100 because they also bought matches and they also bought a snuffer and like maybe another decor item that you sourced and you loved. So keep that in mind and ask your customers, ask them what they would love to see. Start doing polls and start getting the pulse for what is really going to be a game changer to get someone from shopping your Etsy site to your website. So if people are telling you, oh gosh, I can never find snuffers anywhere, then okay, now you can. So we now carry them on our website, and you can now shop our website that offers, all these different collections with these different categories, in addition to our amazing candles that you've come back and bought for years. So start using, and your customers, asking them what they want, start getting a pulse for them. So as you're planning this growth expansion, as you're planning this change, then these are the things that you keep in mind. These are the things that are, really steps in that direction to make that migration or change or addition super successful. So again, on all these points, we'll go into more detail on them in some of the different guides that you can get on my website, which is aliciashaffer.com. And then also make sure you're in our newsletter, and that you're getting that twice a week, and you'll get more insights and more information. And with the newsletter, it's easy too, because I can provide actual links. So as you're reading through it and seeing images, I can provide actual links and have the Q&A, and show you some of the tips and tools and tricks and different methods I've used as well. So all of the information every week, if you're watching the podcast or listening to the podcast, all these things will really help start moving that needle in the direction, which is up, to help drive your sales. So hope this was helpful. Again, make sure you comment, send questions that you may have that I can include in next episodes, or other questions you have or content that you want to see covered.